He is putting the concept of health justice into action. Dr. Soon-Shi and his wife, Michelle, support health-related projects through their family foundation. Together, they pledged $100 million as a fiscal guarantee to make the reopening of the new Martin Luther King Jr. Community Hospital in Willowbrook possible. Ladies and gentlemen, Dr. Patrick Soon-Shi.
Thank you so much. It's such a pleasure and honor to be here seeing these pictures of President Mandela and Martin Luther King is so inspiring. I think Martin Luther King said it best. Of all the inequalities, injustice in healthcare is the most shocking and the most inhumane. And I think that is something I live by. And inspired by these pictures, and maybe, as I said to Mark as I got onto the stage, maybe now is the time to tell maybe my own personal life story of a person who grew up in apartheid. Many people you may not know, but I was born South African, born without an identity, without a vote, without the right to own property. As born in South Africa, of Chinese parents, and now I'm an American citizen, so that makes me a Asian African American. I suppose that's AAA. And as Mark Ridley Thomas often says to me, a brother from another mother. So I spend a few minutes just giving you a little bit of background. You saw those pictures of those students up there from the University of the Witwatersrand. You may have seen them with those placards boycotting apartheid. I was amongst them. I was in there protesting and member of the organization called NUSAS. I was detained by the police merely for not having my identity card, which I refused to carry. We had to have an identity card because I wasn't white, I wasn't black, I was Chinese, I was something, I'm not sure what I was in the country. But I think this kind of Congress, this Empowerment Congress, gives us a belief that if you empower yourself with dignity, with strength and perseverance, and I think most importantly, with the belief, the inner belief that we are here as a common humanity and put on this planet to make the planet a better place when we leave than when we found it. And if we actually set up to that purpose and that mission, you can really achieve anything. Martin Luther King achieved that for this nation, Mandela achieved that for South Africa. This audience and these young people that I see in this audience can do that. I'd like to maybe spend a few minutes just talking about what happened to me. So I graduated, there was a quota for 2 Chinese to enter medical school. I entered medical school. I then wanted to train as an intern in the White Hospital. The government, my chairman had to go to Pretoria to get permission for me to do that. They got permission because I was one of 4, top 4 in the class, but I had to accept 50% salary of my peers. My friends wanted to go on strike. I said, no, I'll take this job because this is what I want to do and learn, be the best. My first patient, an Afrikaner, refused for me to examine him. He did not want that Chinaman, he said, to touch him. So that is how I grew up. I finished my internship, and this great country, America, gave amnesty to all South African doctors to get a license without having to take the exam. So all my friends flew to this country, got their license. I decided I wasn't going to do that. I decided I needed to stay in South Africa, an obligation to help the poor. 1977, 1976, Soweto riots. I volunteered in a Barrett Ronald hospital, watched these poor children being shot. Some in the back, only because they refused to accept to speak Afrikaans. So I think some of you see these pictures, the reality of these pictures I've lived that. I'm proud to say I've lived that, because that gave me the strength and the conviction to do what I do today. I then decided to go into the TB clinics in small townships to help these children. After 6 months, I was depressed by the futility of what I was doing, because I was giving them injections of this drug called streptomycin. No x-rays, no tests, no knowledge whether I was hurting them or helping them. So I decided then that I must leave this country to come back, to come to a country like America, build a technology platform that can be shared for all, so there's a common purpose of the rich and the poor can get the best care regardless of wealth, and come to this country and see if I could do that. So by 1980, I hit the shores of this country, was blessed to train at the UCLA, finish my training at UCLA, and to my horror, found medical apartheid in this country. So I could not bear the idea when I read and saw about this lady who died on the floor of the emergency room at Martin Luther King, calling 911 from the floor, asking for help to get out of there because she's dying. She died, and believe it or not, I've now discovered 4 hours after her death, she lied on that floor and nobody knew. So to me, that was unconscionable, and I found in Mark Ridley Thomas a person who is so passionately driven to do the right thing for this country. And I did find my brother from another mother. But he has a wonderful wife, so that's even more important. We then partnered, in essence, to shame the UC system. To say we must bring care to this hospital. I'm proud to say we're about to open this hospital soon. But the job is not done. If I now tell you we're working across this nation and what I discovered, and that in California, 60% of patients from 2001 to 2006 got the wrong treatment for pancreatic cancer, and the poorer you are, the higher the risk of you getting the wrong treatment. And as you know, pancreatic cancer is a death sentence. Yet, we at UCLA have discovered techniques and developed protocols that actually we now have patients with metastatic pancreatic cancer completely free of disease 5 years out. And my greatest fear is that patients in Brentwood and Westwood and Beverly Hills will get that treatment, and patients in South Central LA will not. Right. And I will work with Mark, and now I'm so proud to say I will work with Sebastian, his son, to make sure that that does not happen. I'm also working in the Navajo Nation in Tuba City. Yes. And if I were to tell you that there are some areas in Navajo Nation that does not have running water and electricity, you would be appalled. We, together with Coca-Cola, Mutar Kent, and other partners, and now this week I just announced with the Clinton Foundation, we'll be partnering to work in the Coachella Valley and the poorest areas in Arkansas. And I can tell you, I want to give you hope. I want to now leave the message that the young people can empower themselves, and with technology today, we can actually bring amazing change. So let me give you one or two examples. We talk about the hearing impaired. There's 1 billion people on this planet that are actually hearing impaired. Yet a hearing aid costs $4,000 to $6,000 and requires a very special audiologist to implant that. We cannot afford that for 1 billion people. So we have now built a hearing aid instead of $4,000 to $6,000 for $200. Dominican Republic, we're about to deploy in Ghana, and we now need to deploy this across this nation for those who cannot afford it. For the blind, in order for the blind to see the technology of computing, we've now built an app that allows on the smartphone the camera to act as seeing eye dog. Now the blind can actually see and recognize, and that app is out and available for the blind. And then finally, I think our war against cancer and our war against chronic diseases that affect mainly the poor. So this is our challenge. Thank you for having me here. I will work very hard for this community. I think exactly California leads the way, and we can. Thank you.